Kendrick Lamar just witnessed Drake release 3 albums in a single night, take over Toronto's CN Tower like a supervillain, and spend almost every song on Iceman discussing Drake the height jokes. The streaming numbers, the conscious rap, music image, the Compton turkey giveaways, the bot farms, everything, all pointed directly at K.Dot's chest. Additionally, Kendrick hasn't yet spoken. Not a single story, message, or mysterious lyric was released at midnight. Nothing. Absolute silence. And family, that silence is currently the loudest thing in hip-hop, because the last time Drake came this hard and Kendrick went silent, what returned completely changed the genre. The man sat back, let Drake and Cole do all the talking, and then dropped Euphoria, Meet the Grams, and Not Like Us back to back, and turned Aubrey Graham from the biggest rapper alive into the most roasted man in the music industry. You all need to know exactly what we're in front of when I tell you that the streets are currently watching music every single move. Drake dropped Iceman on May 15, 2026, for 2 solid years. He had been preparing for this, 2 years of lawsuits getting dismissed, 2 years of watching Kendrick win music, 5 Grammys for a diss track about him, 2 years of witnessing Kendrick play Not Like Us in front of 120 million spectators during the Super Bowl halftime show, with the crowd yelling "certified pedophile" so loudly that the stadium rocked. 2 years of sitting in silence, while his legacy got discussed in past tense. Everyone thought, this is the one. This is where Drake shows up, and shows out, and reminds the world why he ran this. When Drake eventually made a comeback, Game 4, 15 years. After the album was released, Drake continued to discuss Kendrick throughout the entire project. And that's all you need to know about the true status of this dispute. Thus, we are dissecting music today. Every bar Drake threw at Iceman was meant for K.Music. Every angle he came from, and exactly what Kendrick's response to this whole music thing actually looks like. Because trust me, fam, the response already happened. Y'all just didn't recognize it. I'll explain it to you. You have to go all the way back to understand why Iceman hits differently. Not in 2024, not in that manner. Family, we're heading back to 2011. Drake and Kendrick were genuinely brothers at the time. Kendrick Lamar, Compton kid, fresh off the XXL freshman list. Nobody outside of the West really knew who he was yet. Hopped on Drake's Take Care album in 2011 for a track called Buried Alive Interlude. It's a solo interlude on Drake's biggest album at the time, not a feature where he's rapping over a track with Drake. That was the building's level of affection. Drake was already at the top of the charts. He was introducing people to Kendrick, a young, promising friend from the West. After that, everything was love for 2 years. 2 of the most gifted men in their generation. These were peers who were creating their own paths in parallel. However, in 2013, Kendrick Lamar released a verse on Big Sean's Control that completely altered the conversation. This is the foundation of everything. No cap. He particularly mentioned Drake as one of the rappers he was lyrically targeting. Kendrick has always been wired differently, not because of personal drama or beef. He raps as though he's attempting to secure a lasting victory. He referred to it as friendly competition. Drake didn't take it that way, not entirely. You could feel the temperature shift in the energy between them from that point forward. For the next 10 years, Drake would always respond that everything was fine when someone inquired about Kendrick. Greater than music, greater than however, the subliminals were always present if you paid close attention to the lyrics. There was always a simmering tension beneath the surface. Then came 2023. John. In retrospect, Cole's actions and Drake's release of music, First Person, Shooter, ignited the longest spark in hip-hop history. Greater than music, greater than he called Drake himself and Kendrick Lamar, the big 3 of modern rap. Greater than music, 3 kings, equal footing sharing the throne. Kendrick drew the line in the sand there. March 2024, Kendrick Lamar jumps on Future and Metro Boomin's joint project with Music, a record called Like That. Regarding that record, Mother_the Big 3. In the wall, it's just Big Me.ads, looking straight into the camera. Suddenly, the match was lighted. Here's the actual tea, though. Everyone assumed Kendrick was just talking his stuff and being competitive. What nobody understood in that moment was that Kendrick had already decided this was war, not a battle, not a rap beef, where two guys trade bars for clout. An actual war where he intended to bury somebody's legacy in broad daylight. Drake came. Back, Drake returned, of course. He released Push-Ups in April 2024, criticizing Kendrick's pen, calling him short, and talking music as usual. Then Drake went even further and dropped Tailor-Made Freestyle. It was at this point that he committed his first significant error. He used generated verses from Tupac Shakur and Snoop Dogg to body Kendrick. As soon as possible, the Tupac estate came out and vowed to sue him. They claimed dime, paraphrasing that it was more disrespectful to use Tupac's voice against Kendrick Lamar, who had only shown respect for Tupac's legacy. Drake had to pull the song down within days. He had already committed a mistake from which there is no turning back before the actual conflict even began. But hold on, things get worse. On April 30th, 2024, Kendrick Lamar releases Euphoria, a 13-second song in which he raps like a man who has been waiting years to speak. He didn't have a melody or a hook, he simply rapped, analyzed Drake's persona, his image as a culture vulture, and his connection to black culture as a mixed-race child from Toronto, who made a career out of performing blackness for the general. Public Kendrick wasn't finished, despite the internet going crazy. Another diss is dropped in Los Angeles at 6:16 on May 3rd, 2024. Drake, to his credit, made a strong comeback. Kendrick was rolling now, family and music. Same day, May 3rd, Drake dropped Family Matters, 11 minutes long. He accused Kendrick of domestic abuse. He music asserted that one of Kendrick's children was biologically fathered by Dave Free, Kendrick's creative partner. He attacked the image, the believability, the personal life, and music. It was the kind of record that would have ended a career if the accusations had been true. 20 minutes later, Kendrick released Meet the Grams. Everyone realized this was different at that point, before Family Matters even came out. Kendrick had already written his reply. Meet the Grams was addressed. And this is the insane part, not to Drake, but to Drake's parents, because he had anticipated every blow. Accusing Drake of sex trafficking and bringing up the presence of a second secret child that Drake had purportedly kept hidden from the public. The letter was written like a letter to his family. In 2018, Pusha T revealed Adonis, the first mystery. Son Kendrick was saying there was another one, and then May 4th, 2024 arrived. Unlike us, certified pedophile, certified lover boy, just one line. Y'all already know it. However, the entire song was a weapon. Kendrick rapped for 4 minutes over a DJ Mustard beat that was so catchy and unquestionably amazing that even folks who'd never heard of Rap Feud were yelling it. It was melodic, there was a chant, there was an almost festive vibe to everything. Kendrick outperformed Drake, who had spent years establishing his reputation as the most successful rapper in the world. Drake was the man behind pop crossovers, meme records, and turning street music into top 40 radio. Compared to everything Drake had produced in the same season, his D single was more entertaining, catchy, quotable, and suitable for radio play. Drake tried to respond one more time. May Music 5th, 2024, The Heart Part 6. He refuted the charges. Greater than music, greater than then he said that Kendrick had fallen for a trap set by his team, which had given him false information about the second secret child. For perhaps 48 hours, the internet was split. Then, Kendrick performed Not Like Us 6 times in one night at the Pop-Out, his own concert at the Kia Forum in Compton Music. 6 times LeBron James was present. The whole city of Los Angeles was in that arena. And just like that, the verdict wasn't Drake was defeated. The streets were aware of it. The culture was aware of it. And even the top organization in the music business attested to it, because music won every category for which it was nominated at the 67th Annual Grammy Awards in February 2025. Best Rap Performance, Best Rap Song, Best Music Video, Record of the Year, and Song of the Year. A diss track, 5 out of 5. And Kendrick Lamar wins the Grammy. Cheering greater than the Grammy Awards Song of the Year went to a diss track about Drake. And then 2 weeks after the Grammys, Kendrick took the Super Bowl stage, Super Bowl 59, the biggest audience a halftime show has ever seen. He also gave a performance of Not Like Us, the crowd chanted the certified pedophile lyrics, so loud that it was audible on broadcast television, even though the word was censored. On that stage at the Super Bowl, Serena Williams' woman Drake was rumored to have performed as a dancer. The damage Drake suffered from Kendrick Lamar on a national and international level is likely the biggest public loss any rapper music has ever suffered in a rap conflict, period, according to one music journalist from Complex, which I'm quoting. When Drake created Iceman, he was entering that circumstance. Drake didn't say anything on record between that Super Bowl in February 2025 and the Iceman drop in May 2026. He dropped a collab project with Party Next Door on Valentine's Day 2025, called Some Sexy Songs for You, greater than music, greater than, but that wasn't the one. That was Drake retreating into his zone in a leaked freestyle titled Fighting Irish Freestyle from January 2025. He addressed the feud and appeared to take aim at LeBron and UMG, although it lacked vigor. Hip Hop Music DX referred to it as empty tough talk. Nobody really moved. Then, in January 2025, Drake released a song about the feud that revealed all about his worldview. He sued his own company, Universal Music Group, for defamation because of the manner they advertised. Not like Music Us, he had no intention of suing Kendrick. He was suing the machine. He claimed that a song that falsely accused him of being a pedophile was actively promoted by UMG, that Lucian Grainge, the CEO of the label, had openly celebrated the Grammy victory for a song that disparaged his client, and that it was all a ploy to influence contract negotiations. Here's the real tea though. Greater Than Music, greater than that lawsuit got dismissed in October 2025. Drake is still appealing, but he has no legal standing. Drake therefore had one move remaining in 2026, drop the best music of his life, and remind everybody who the hell he was before all of this started. Iceman was meant to be that. The rollout was extensive, I'll give it to him. Prior to the release, he produced a 4-episode YouTube livestream series. In the 4th episode, he teased lyrics that the internet quickly interpreted as jabs at Kendrick. Burned down what looked to be a bot farm on camera, and alluded to claims that Kendrick's streaming numbers for Not Like Us were inflated. At the conclusion of the stream, he disclosed that he would not be releasing a single album. At midnight, he was dropping 43 songs: Iceman, Maid of Honor, and Habity. He took control of Toronto's CN Tower, set it on fire, and created a spectacle. And before the albums even officially dropped, a leaked song called 1 AM, an extension of his timestamp series, appeared online in Albany. Drake made fun of Kendrick's height on it, likening him to Muggsy Bogues. He attacked LeBron. He came at Dr. Dre. The whole thing was Drake, in wartime mode, talking his business to anyone who was listening. The stage was set. The entire civilization was confined. Iceman then fell. Now, let me explain exactly what Drake said about Kendrick on Iceman. As you can see, Drake disseminated his criticism throughout several tracks, making it difficult to discern his true motivations. First shot on Make Them Pay, Drake goes, "Damn, who is this guy for real? I guess a magician." 100 million streams vanished. No one got questions for no odds. The magician line is about the streaming allegations Drake raised in his UMG lawsuit. The notion that Not Like Us had exaggerated their figures, and that following the dismissal of the lawsuit, those streams allegedly decreased without Kendrick being questioned about it. Drake is attempting to sow doubt about the veracity of Kendrick's triumph in terms of statistics. Same song. And now they got music a new GOAT, and we got to test the position. Kendrick's line like that is directly referenced in that the big three mother underscore. It's just huge me. Drake's saying, "Okay, you want the throne? Come defend it." Second shot on Dust, Drake raps music. "What was the year you said you had?" Slaps, because I don't remember it going like that. I don't remember one word of your raps. This one's petty, and that's clearly the point. He's calling Kendrick musically irrelevant outside of the beef. He just has diss tunes, and his body of work is unimpressive. This statement was always going to be laughed out of the room, coming from the man who lost the Grammy to one of those diss recordings. But Drake said it anyway. Multiple tracks, height jokes, and a third shot, the Muggsy Bogues line at 1 AM. In Albany, for once Muggsy Bogues dunked, And even I'm a little taken aback. Someone give the kid a raise. In NBA history, Muggsy Bogues is renowned for being the shortest player. Greater than music, greater than, Drake is referring to Kendrick as short and displaying admiration for someone with K's little stature. Dot even succeeded in getting a hit, and look. Music Drake has gone to the height well before. The energy of push-ups was the same in 2024. The fact that he's still reaching for that same bar 2 years later tells you something. The most intriguing shot is the fourth one, music. Drake targeted Kendrick's image as a mindful rapper. He gave a glimpse of a bar that hit differently in episode 4 of his live webcast. Your soul is fulfilled when white children listen to you because they are feeling guilty. You return to the hills after giving out turkeys in your neighborhood on camera. Allow me to reiterate that. White children pay attention to you because they feel guilty. Drake is challenging the sincerity of Kendrick's activism and community image, claiming that his charity work is only theatrical clout rather than genuine love for Compton, and that the majority of his fanbase consists of guilty white liberals, rather than the black community he purports to represent. That bar is well calculated. That is directed at the core of Kendrick's identity as a cultural voice, his reputation, and what makes him Kendrick. This is where things get insane though. Drake's statement that Kendrick's fanbase is primarily made up of white, guilty liberals may be musically accurate. But coming from a mixed-race Canadian rapper who based his early career on showcasing Black Southern culture, it doesn't go as planned. That was instantly recorded by the internet. Greater than music, greater than family, you can't be the official culture vulture and criticize someone else based on their demographics. They don't add up correctly. The reference to the captive owl is the fifth music shot. Drake raps, "The owl never sees the cage. The owl only wakes up to seize the day." Music greater than Kendrick's Not Like Us video featured a caged owl, which served as a clear visual metaphor for Drake's defeat. Drake is attempting to reclaim the owl as a representation of dominance and freedom. By reversing that imagery, it's clever music on paper, but the problem is, it just reminds everybody of the original video and everything Kendrick did with it. The sixth attempt. I'm not suing a rapper, I'm fighting the man. Drake is responding to the criticism of the lawsuit from Bees on the table. Many believed it was a tame move, a legal ploy rather than a hip-hop response to file against UMG rather than Kendrick directly. Drake claims he is targeting the organization rather than the performer. It is up to you whether or not you think that reframing is necessary. Seventh, the West Coast is disrespectful. Drake tells Kendrick that people in Oakland also adore him. On Too Hard for the Radio, which features a beat with a West Coast vibe, like he's trying to destabilize Kendrick's regional home turf allegiance. Then he comes at Mustard specifically. Mustard was able to catch up to the slaps after learning about Osten's YG and I Rapped. You haven't had one. Music in essence, Drake is criticizing the entire camp by claiming that Kendrick's DJ, his partner, and the man who turned Not Like Us into an indisputable single, hasn't had a hit since the Drake era. Music, now you've heard every jab Drake made at Kendrick Lamar over the course of 3 albums and 43 tracks. And the question that the entire culture is currently debating, from DJ academics to Joe Budden to every barbershop from Compton to Toronto, is did it work? Families, real recognize real. And real talk, the general consensus forming on the internet is that Drake rapped well, better than he's rapped in years. The Iceman tracks are technically impressive, bars are tighter, delivery is sharper, he seems driven, strong performance as a rap act. But here's the thing about this specific battlefield. It's not just about rapping well, it's about narrative. Furthermore, Drake's current narrative is so strongly biased in favor of Kendrick that even skilled bars are unable to completely expose him. Consider the chronology. After 2 years, Drake releases 43 songs, and a significant portion of his main album is still about Kendrick Lamar. What Kendrick did to him, streams that disappeared. Music bots, the lawsuit, the owl, the height, GNX, and the West Coast, and the conscious rap image. Each and every one of those bars alludes to the beef music that Drake openly lost. You stop discussing the fight once you've emerged victorious. You keep bringing it up when you're the one who's still hurt, and the music streets are expressing just that. Kendrick hasn't made any posts, replied, or officially acknowledged Iceman. His music videos for Luther and Not Like Us vanished from YouTube just a few hours prior to the album's release before reappearing. In an attempt to determine whether that was a move or a bug, the internet went berserk. People began sharing music about Kendrick's upcoming counter-project, Fireman, before the Fireman rumor was exposed as a total fraud. The buzz was genuine. For a brief period of time, however, the very fact that such a myth grew viral indicates something. People are creating the answer before Kendrick responds because the culture is so eager for him to do so. Power is that, leverage is that. Even though Kendrick hasn't said anything, Drake's entire camp is already on edge, wondering when the retaliation will occur. Here's what actually took place. When people view this scenario as just a contest to see who can release the best diss track, this is what they continue to ignore. Kendrick Lamar is not responding to Drake's criticism of him on Iceman, at least, not in the manner that Drake requires. This is the most crucial aspect of the entire breakdown, so pay attention to what follows. Kendrick already won, and the win was so complete that responding to Iceman with a diss track would actually diminish what he achieved. Consider the man's actions. He took home 5 Grammys, he performed at the Super Bowl, he dropped GNX, an album. That didn't even mention Drake by name. That didn't need to. That was purely music Kendrick, flexing his artistry and his legacy in the post-beef era. Then, while Drake was uploading lawsuits, live streams, and album teases, he embarked on a major global tour since the beginning of 2025. Kendrick has been acting as though the chapter is over, which is the most detrimental thing he could do to Drake's story, because Iceman needs Kendrick's response in order for it to be relevant in the manner that Drake desires. The beef is still going strong if Kendrick releases a rebuttal record. This implies that Drake will have another chance to participate in the same conversation as K. Drake is talking to himself. If Kendrick remains silent, Drake is the man. Standing in the arena, shouting at someone who already left the building, examine the receipts. Music, one of the most streamed rap songs in Spotify history, is Kendrick Lamar's post-beef song, Not Like Us. GNX made its debut at the top. Arenas all over the world were sold out by his tour. His status as the greatest rapper alive was confirmed by the culture through institutional recognition, commercial dominance, and critical acclaim, all of which came at the same time in a wave. And now, Drake drops Iceman, his comeback, his statement, his attempt at reclaiming the narrative, not Drake's new music or Drake's new period, but Kendrick continues to be the album's main talking point. Even after Drake's own record was released, the discussion keeps returning to Drake's feelings regarding what Kendrick did to. That's not winning the narrative. That's the story that is winning you. For now, let me keep it 100 with you all. Drake is talented. I'm not going to sit here and disrespect the body of work this man built. From 2010 to 2018, take care, nothing was the same. If you're reading this, it's too late. And Views were unquestionably the top 10 albums of a generation-long legacy. And even Iceman has moments where you hear that Drake, the one who was the best in the world at what he did. However, this is the unsettling reality that the entire society is currently facing. Drake has been making references to Kendrick's height in his lyrics since Push Ups in 2024. The lawsuit was rejected due to the allegations of streaming bots, and the charges were never validated in court. Drake's criticism of the conscious rap audience doesn't resonate. Additionally, Kendrick's picture is referenced by the owl that was ingrained in the culture by Kendrick. Drake's mention of it simply keeps it alive. Every bar Drake threw at Kendrick on Iceman, Kendrick has already answered. Actions, not a response track. The Grammys answered the "nobody asks about your raps" line before Drake even rapped it. The Super Bowl performance answered the question of whether Kendrick's music has cultural impact. The GNX album answered whether Kendrick could move past the beef and still make great music. The World Tour is answering the question of whether people are buying what Kendrick's selling. So when Drake says 100 million streams vanished, no one got questions. The actual answer is that 5 Grammy wins and a Super Bowl performance exist. Drake claims, "I don't remember one word of your raps." In reality, 120 million people saw those raps performed live on the largest stage in American entertainment. Bars can't be used to disparage facts, family. That's not how this works. Where does this go then? In this case, what comes next? Here's the real talk. Two things happen if Kendrick reacts to Iceman and releases a song that explicitly addresses Drake's insults. 1. Iceman has retroactive relevance that it doesn't now have on its own, because the battle continues on Drake's terms. 2. Kendrick needs to simultaneously win Meet the Grams, Euphoria, and Not Like Us. That bar exists. It was set by him. Anything below that degree of devastation is interpreted as him falling off. However, if Kendrick doesn't say anything, Drake will have to accept that his most anticipated album in years, his spectacular return, and his "I'm loading rebuttals" moment didn't spark as much cultural discussion as Kendrick's absence did. More people were talking about the Fireman Myth, a fictitious counter-album, online than half of the genuine Iceman tracklist put together. That's an issue, and based on my interpretation, Kendrick's response is already taking place. Not in the form of a diss track, in the form of silence, in the form of not acknowledging it, in the form of the culture watching Drake reference him 17 different ways across his comeback album while Kendrick is somewhere on tour or in the studio doing exactly what he said he was going to do when he performed at the Super Bowl: move culture forward. The last thing Kendrick said publicly about Drake before Iceman dropped was on Waxed Out, Murals from GNX, and even that wasn't direct. Music, rather than discussing Drake specifically or seeking retribution, he was discussing his legacy, his place in history, and what the beef revealed about the culture. That man has already turned the page and closed the chapter. And Drake just wrote another letter to someone who's done reading the mail. Y'all tell me in the comments, do music you think Kendrick responds to Iceman, or does he stay silent and let the culture do the talking for him? Is Drake taking the correct approach with this album? Or is he going deeper into a hole from which he will never be able to escape because the discussion is far from over? The streets are watching. Kendrick is observing, and the silence grows louder the longer he waits. That's the actual situation, not a cap. This narrative is just getting started, so if you haven't subscribed yet, family, now is the perfect moment. Music Iceman was newly released yesterday. This is still in its first 48 hours. I assure you that there will be a response when it arrives. We're going to be here to break it all down first. Like the video, music, subscribe, drop your take in the comments, and until next time, stay locked in. Stay locked in.